We just saw Nightcrawler, and on this show I take my friends, we go see a movie, we review it in the car, and then we have a discussion. The review part is spoiler-free, so if you're on the fence and trying to decide if this is a movie for you, watch the review. If you've already seen the movie or just want to hear everything we thought and don't care about spoilers, watch the whole video. Nightcrawler is a sort of a thriller, mystery, suspense kind of a movie with Jake Gyllenhaal in the central role. He is a sort of amateur photographer that becomes fixated on shooting news footage for this news station that ends up buying footage from him, and it continually ramps up with him doing more and more sort of insane things to get the shot, or crazy things to get the best ratings or the most amazing footage that he possibly can. From the trailers and from what I expected from this movie, it's a little different. I saw some of the things that they show in the trailer about him sort of doctoring sites, or doctoring, like a crash site and stuff like that. And I thought that the movie was going to be based around him sort of inventing stories or causing crime, causing things to happen. And to an extent that's true, but that's not really what the movie's about. The movie's much more about sort of this really fine line of him doing things that you and I wouldn't do, but it's still kind of questionably okay. Like, he's sort of skirting the line of good judgment or things that he's able to do. But beyond all of that, the central performance is just so great that you're with him the whole time. He's a really strange character, but he's a really electric character. He's really interesting to watch and try and decipher what's happening with him. He has this really eerie sense of always being in control, even when he's not even in control of himself. And that makes it a really, really interesting performance to watch. I got sort of a sense, there were a couple of moments that reminded me of like Tom Cruise doing A Crazy Guy, or something along those lines. But it was just a really well done movie all the way around. There's a bunch of stuff that I'm sure will bear repeat viewing. There were a bunch of little things that something would happen on TV and you'd hear audio in the background that was describing something in the foreground, but they weren't really connected. It just happened to be a coincidence that they were there. That kind of stuff. I really enjoyed it. I would say definitely go check this one out. I can't think of who wouldn't enjoy this movie. It doesn't get as graphic or or horrific as you might expect it to. So if you're worried about that, I wouldn't worry about that quite so much. It's more about the depths to which he will go to do what he wants to do. What'd you guys think?
I absolutely loved it. I think Gyllenhaal gave one of his best performances, if not his best performance to date. The story was really good, and going on what you said, it wasn't what it was presented to be in the trailers. In the trailers, they really centered in on some scenes where he doctors crime scenes, but like you said, that doesn't happen much. It's actually more of a twisted take on the American dream. And there are a couple things I'd like to point out, but I'll save that for the spoiler section. But he was a very interesting character. Just every time he was on the screen, and which was 90% of the movie, he just, you couldn't take your eyes off of him. Everything else kind of faded away, and you were just captivated by every movement he had, every tick, because he embodied this character so well. You actually thought that, oh my God, this guy's kind of crazy. It's a really good movie, not vulgar at all. I can't think of a reason you couldn't even take preteen to see it. Probably that's about as low as I'd go. But great movie, start to finish. Cal?
Yep, another like. It's the whole movie kind of homes in on that thing of rubbernecking after a car wreck, and everyone slows down to see what they can see, and that fascination is kind of a base instinct in a lot of people, especially in American news, which is not so much news as it is crime report. And this movie really homes in on that, and Jake Gyllenhaal plays a sociopath who really homes in on that, and he kind of is the embodiment of our baser selves on TV in terms of we love watching a train wreck or just, you know, some nasty crime thing happening. And the whole movie unfolds like a car wreck. You can't, like, you totally want to see what's going to happen next and how things are going to unreal and unveil and whatnot. Really good film. Tension, and the main character was really well done. The writing was good. It just felt like a complete film. There's a lot of cool symbolism in there. It's really it's a good package. I would definitely recommend watching it.
So that's 3 recommendations. Definitely go check this out. Don't let us spoil anything for you if you haven't seen it yet. Please stop the video now and go check it out. To get into the discussion part of it and talk about it a little bit more, I mean, the part that Tom Cruise plays in Magnolia, the Frank T.J. Mackey character, that's kind of the vibe I was getting off of him in this. Not that he was playing like a character exactly like that, but it was that level of, like, intense, electric weirdness. Like, you can't take your eyes off of this character because he's being completely honest with you, and what he's saying is so completely wrong that you can't stop watching. You can't look away. And you know that, you know, the stakes are going to keep getting higher and higher, and you know that, you know, there's stuff that they show in the trailer that doesn't happen until the 3rd act, and so you know that there's more insanity that's going to happen. But the actual depravity, like the actual thing that he does that, you know, as an audience, it's interesting to think about, like, where is it that we decide as an audience that he's crossed the line? You know, where is it that we decide that this is where
we know he's cold from the very beginning.
Right.
There's a theft thing that happens.
Like, should he have, you know, shown them the suspects, kind of thing? And then, obviously, like, should he have, like, tricked his partner into getting shot?
Yeah.
One of the things that I thought was the most interesting thing about it, was, how long was that movie?
2 hours.
2 hours.
2 hours?
Yeah.
2 hours, and Jake Gyllenhaal is on the screen almost all of it. We don't know anything about the character. Absolutely nothing. Because in the beginning, you know he's a thief. That's it. Everything else from that point on in the movie, he completely manufactures. You know, he steals that guy's watch. He basically steals identities and adding it into his own, making one super identity.
Right.
And you never learn anything about who he actually is, who he was before the start of this movie.
He's an empty person.
That's true, but at the same time,
the anonymity helps that, I think.
It was interesting.
At the same time, like, he's not duplicitous about it.
Yeah.
He's right up front about what he's doing. You know, through the whole thing. It's like,
and that's kind of one of the things I thought the movie was a commentary on, was, you know, he's the disconnect that he has with other people. That you know, he has no emotion, no attachment whatsoever, but he's striving to achieve something.
well,
He's trying to get a job at the beginning, and then he's trying to build his empire.
I forgot about that scene.
but there's the telling part where he says to his partner, you know, what if it's not that I don't understand people?
Just don't like them.
What if it's that I don't like them?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I had to hurt someone? Would that, like, convince you to do what you need to do? Because that could happen right now. It's like,
and let me tell you that the way he delivered that line was chilling. Like, to the bone. You really thought.
Well, that's why that first scene is so important. We see him being, you know, basically stealing and hurting someone from the get-go.
Yeah.
So that scene was really important.
We know what he's capable of. Him threatening, basically blackmailing and threatening the news director. That scene where they're in the restaurant and he's just like,
manipulative.
pushing and pushing. And, yeah.
It also gives idea, you know, as he became more powerful and as everybody started to lean on him, didn't you get the feeling that she was kind of falling for him?
Oh, yeah.
And you just realize that, like
she was fascinated and terrified of him at the same time.
He has become her entire existence. Like, he holds all of the cards. And so now she has nothing left but to love this man. It's such a great character.
Kind of a twisted love story thread in there too.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is. And
in some ways, it's a hard film to describe because it's so on screen. You know, it's like the way it unfolds and like the way you just got to see the acting and see the.
Yeah, it's so visual.
Yeah.
And him being like all gaunt, and I don't know how much weight he lost to do this role, but
he said in an interview only something like 20 to 40 pounds.
He looks pretty gaunt for like how he normally looks.
It kind of fit the role though, didn't it?
Yeah, it made him look really like starved and
disassociated and a very night person. And yep.
I gotta say, when I first heard about this and it being in California, I thought it was going to be a movie about Richard Ramirez. After watching it, I'm not sure that it wasn't.
Yeah,
because I mean, he was just that creepy.
But he was like this, this ghoulish version of Patrick Bateman wandering the streets.
Right.
And even though you knew behind the facade, he was completely. There was nothing there, nothing behind the eyes.
Right.
He was so charismatic.
My favorite line of his, the whole how little he has to lose, how committed to what he's doing he is. When they show up at his door and they're talking to him and they say, you know, can we come in? Like he was hiding something or whatever like that. And he's like, oh, you want to? Oh, really? Come on in.
Yeah.
Well,
you want to come into my shithole apartment?
It's like the narcissistic personality disorder,
like,
you know? It's.
Do I have to let you?
Yeah.
Do you have anything to hide? No, come on in.
You want to come in? Really?
It was awesome. He was so. Oh my gosh! Like that is a performance I'm gonna remember. You know, I might not remember this scene here. I might not remember the movie as a whole, but I'm gonna remember that performance. It was great.
Very cool.
Yep.
Well, we enjoyed it. That's our review of Nightcrawler. If you like the way we do these reviews, please like the video, subscribe, check out all our written and video reviews over at dalemaxfield.com. Thanks for watching.